but they will need to string a winning streak together in order to mount any sort of challenge to the fourth-placed Western Sydney Wanderers as things currently stand. Hills United, though, their future in this competition is slightly more in jeopardy. They haven't secured mathematical safety from relegation, but a win today would push them up to 100 points on the club championship, and that would be more than double the last-placed team, Western City Rangers, on 47. So while they do enjoy a substantial gap at the moment, they don't want to leave anything to chance in the final 7 weeks of the season and run it too fine. As far as the senior teams are concerned, Hills United, 5 wins for the campaign. They're in 11th at the moment, while Sydney University sit 5th, 8 wins, 4 draws, 6 losses, and 28 points. And we will keep an eye on scores from around the grounds this afternoon as one of a number of kickoffs. There's been one match completed already, with ladder leaders Bulls Academy winning 4-1 against the Illawarra Stingrays. So that means that Hills, with a win today, could potentially leapfrog the Stingrays as one of a number of teams, at least in the club championship, if not necessarily on the senior table. Let's get to the lineups. Sydney University have made one change, with Sienna Baram coming into the starting team for this game. And out of the side today go Ellen Hughes, and also dropping off the bench a couple of outs, Emily Pine and Claudia Pickett. So from the back, Scarlett Gray wearing number 31 in goal, 6 Juliet Harris, 8 Madison Van Dyke, 9 Poppy Tay, 10 Jenny Hill, 11 Amelia Macris, 12 Sarah Fallow, 28 Isabella Rad, 30 Grace Chotraganza, 37 Sienna Baram, and 39 Asha Sutton. Hills United, their goalkeeper wearing number 20 is Maddie Iro, 3 Ashling Davidson, 4 Charlotte Hogan, 8 A.S. Saino, 11 Natalie Casher, 16 Mary Stanich-Floody, 18 Erin Tavares, 22 Neve Burns, 25 Jessica Garrett, 27 Tiana Jaber, and 36 Libby Morris. No Olivia Sloan for Hills this week. She's the one out. In comes Libby Morris as the only change to the starting 11. We'll get to the benches after kickoff here. Referee is Jerry Bitas for this one. Cool evening, but barely a breath of wind and no rain today on the sandpit here at Sydney Uni. There is a smattering of grass around, but as we know, this venue does get a lot of traffic and is bearing the brunt of it as we kick off here at the main ground at Sydney University this evening. Round 19 action in NPL Women's New South Wales, and immediately clearing Sydney University from the centre of defence. Touch of the ball for Chotraganza. Hills trying to rush from kickoff here. Not able to work through the traffic. Neve Burns. Now Natalie Casher with a touch, but exploding the other way. University trying to escape their defensive half through Van Dyke. And now a touch for Ashling Davidson down the right side. And the ball sits up in midfield. Advancing onto the ball. Van Dyke switching flanks over to Sienna Baram. Early touch for her, but an underhit pass, which is going to be intercepted. Garrett coming back in the other direction. Couldn't find a teammate. And so University consolidate on the ball here. And blocked out for a throw-in by Garrett after the attempted cross from Isabella Rudd, who scored a double when these teams met earlier in the season. It was a 3-1 away win for Sydney University when they went out to Valentine Sports Park. Rudd with a double and Hijazi scoring the goals. Back in round 6, while it was Brooke Hasty, who's on the bench today for Sydney University, who scored their goal in that game. Same as Noor Hijazi, who is on the bench for the home side today. Here's a long ball attempted by Hills now, being played by Libby Morris, and the goalkeeper out for a first touch. Scarlett Gray coming out of her line. Rolls it out to right back. And as the ball's cleared out, it's a chance to go through the benches. So Sydney University, Evie Fisher, Talia Sambrook, Ella McCann, the New Zealand Youth International, new arrival from the Wellington Phoenix, Noor Hijazi, Letitia Zek, Juliet Chu, and Georgia Lim. While on the bench for Hills United, Nicola Simmons, Brooke Hasty, Ellen Berrios, Bianca Zwereb, the former name, or the new name of the former Bianca Galliini, who's now playing under her married name, Cardia Fragale, Montana Rose Curry and Olga Gastoratos make up the bench for Hills United in this one. Long throw, and the defence through Jaber and Garrett will converge here for Hills, trying to play their way out through defensive midfield. And it's going to be a throw-in earned by Mary Stanage-Floody, the Canterbury United A-League player, the Super Boot, who scored yet another long-range goal last week, albeit in a 3-1 defeat to the MacArthur Rams. But goalkeepers always have to be on alert when Stanage-Floody is out there. There's no range that she won't have a crack from. And was very much able to catch out the MacArthur goalkeeper last week. Speaking of keepers, here's Madiero, the captain New Zealand international, rolling it out to Tiana Jaber. And Garrett starting at left back. Plays it to Neve Burns. Hills owning slightly more of the ball in the opening exchanges, but they can't find a way into their attacking half here. Van Dijk plays the ball back to the centre of defence, and Sarah Farrow. Now Jenny Hill breaking out of the defensive half. Over to Amelia Macris on the left side, and the underlapping run is promising from Maddie Van Dijk. The cutback looking for Poppy Tay, and the defence able to clear away for Hills. Chotraganza on the ball, now switching over to Juliet Harris. Harris has got the wide option in Sienna Baram, and Baram, looking up at Neve Burns, is able to lift across into the near post where the defence deals with it for Hills, and then in combination it was Morris and then Garrett trying to clear, only a shallow clearance though. Chotraganza takes over and knocks the ball back to Harris. A little disorienting to see a number 10 shirt at centre back today for Sydney Uni, but that's what Jenny Hill is doing here as she plays the ball back to Sarah Farrow. And now back to goal work from Poppy Tay, but she turns right into a challenge. Now switching over to Amelia Macris. We know how dangerous she can be. Macris cuts onto her right side and puts it over the bar. Oh, that was an early warning there from Amelia Macris, the Adelaide United player who was a former captain of the Australia under-20s. Has been just cursed by injury in recent years. Has previously played in the New South Wales NPL at the Northern Tigers. Of course, playing under her mother's maiden name now, used to be known as Amelia Murray. So 5 minutes in, and Uni have had the most dangerous chance so far. Through midfield work, Hills. Charlotte Hogan. Now to Natalie Casher. Long ball from Stanage-Floody, trying to set the runners away. ASANO couldn't get past Farrow, who stays goal side. The Japanese wheeling around on the right flank, and that's good defending there from Farrow. But not good enough to avoid conceding a corner, which will be the first of the game here for visiting Hills. So, first corner of the game, Mary Stanage-Floody to take for the visiting Hills. Outswinger to the edge of the penalty box, bouncing on. Garrett wraps her right foot round the ball, and it's going to loop up and become an easy catch in the end for Scarlett Gray. So I mentioned that there was a hive of activity going on this afternoon around the grounds. We've had the one earlier score, Bulls 4, Stingrays 1. We've got Western Sydney Wanderers taking on the Northern Tigers over at Wanderers Football Park. And also Manly United against the Gladesville Ravens. Of course, Manly playing in the Cup final on Wednesday night. They'll be taking on UNSW in that match on Wednesday evening. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. UNSW held to a 0-0 draw in their match yesterday. And it does mean, in the context of the senior table, Bulls 46, UNSW 44, Apia 43, the runaway top three at the top of the league, and then Wanderers on 38, and Sydney University, best of the rest, on 29 on the live table. So if they were to win today, they'd go to 31 points, and if Wanderers were to lose, they'd be on 37. So they could cut the gap to as few as 6 points with favourable results today. As we see the offside flag up for the first time, and it's Macris coming in from the left wing who has been flagged offside there. The two coaches, Xavier Taylor of Sydney University and also Paul Tassis of Hills United. And as far as the table's concerned for Hills, Western City Rangers last place in seniors on just 8 points. Illawarra 14, Spirit 16, Hills 18 on the live table, and MacArthur 21, Olympic also on 21. So they can't move up the table today, but they can certainly consolidate their hold on 11th spot and perhaps more importantly put some points in the bank for the club championship. If you are wondering, it was Sydney Uni winning 1-0 in the under-23s, which was played immediately before this game. Alana Penfold with the only goal for Uni, so a missed opportunity for some points in the club championship there for Hills as well. They're on the move here though. Saino just caught behind Farrow again. Good little duel starting to unfold between those two as the ball is cleared away. Ball in midfield for Morris. Turning through the centre of the pitch and knocked by Farrow with no threat of a back pass there down to her goalkeeper, Scarlett Gray. Here's Jenny Hill for Sydney University. And a long diagonal ball, hoping to bring the attackers into play. It's cleared from Poppy Tay by Garrett, headed on by Davidson of Hills. And a bouncing ball lands with Stanage Floody. The through ball is promising. And Ayaseno takes possession, and a crunching last-ditch challenge knocks her to the ground from Farrow. Got all the ball, but the defence aren't off the hook just yet. Stanage Floody with a shot from a standing start, which is blocked away by Hill. And now, as players tangle for the ball, a free kick Uni's way, and they can exhale after a big chance there for Hills. It was a promising through ball, and a great challenge coming across from Sarah Farrow. Timed the slide challenge perfectly. It was all or nothing there. You get that wrong, it's a penalty. But she got it spot on, and Sano had a heavy landing as a result. So Ayaseno, no call for the trainer, just a little winded, getting back to her feet here. As Tiana Jaber squares over to Jessica Garrett. Garrett's attempted long ball has been intercepted. Harris plays it to Rard. Get to really get into the game, Isabella Rard. It's a unconventional weekend of NPL Women's where we had 3 games on a Saturday. Apia winning 5-1 against the Western City Rangers yesterday. NWS Spirit 4-2 against the MacArthur Rams. And also that 0-0 draw between UNSW and Sydney Olympic. It's not often at 5 p.m. on a Sunday. You only have the 3 games going. We're waiting for a goal in any of those 3 games. Poppy Tay trying to do something about that. Swept the ball into the middle, but it's cleared away before it could arrive at Asher Sutton. And that duo for Sydney University has been their main avenue to goal this season. Sutton with 9 goals, Tay with 7, Rudd with 7 as well. Here's Chotraganza through the middle. And intercepted by Jaber. Davidson has to just be alert of the threat of Macris lurking. Now Garrett Heard the shout from Neve Burns over on the left sideline. Burns caught in a block tackle by Baram. Tay to Rad. The ball breaks into the middle. Chotraganza able to step through. And then an important block coming from Jaber. Out to Rad, a deflected cross, and the goalkeeper, Iro, will field it on one bounce. Libby Morris at the base of midfield for Hills as they try to play their way through the front three of Sydney United. Davidson from right back with a long ball. Farrow knocks it down. Hill to Chotraganza. Got to be careful here. Sayano's going to run in and almost steal the ball. Had help, though, from Juliet Harris. Did University to diffuse any danger. And now Baram with the long clearance down the line. Almost down to the grassiest little corner on the pitch, you'd have to say. The right corner. For those of you watching from interstate or overseas, this venue is shared with Rugby Union. Thus you can see the additional markings on the pitch. And sharing with Rugby Union means a lot of heavy traffic on this surface. Thankfully no rain today, otherwise we would be playing in the soup. So throw in for University from the left side. Flicked into the box. And Van Dijk's pass is going to be knocked back to Matty Iro, who can clear. And as it loops up and just finds its way out, University have a throw in again, but Davidson quick to pop it away. Macris's throw. Battle for possession ensues. Stanage Floody only as far as Grace Chotraganza. Now Farrow. Chotraganza. Tough pass to control for Van Dijk. Might have some help from Poppy Tay, but not before the referee intervenes, seeing a foul. Garrett played up to the halfway line. He's got to engage Rad here. Trying to barge her way forward. And as the ball hugs the line, eventually it finds its way out. And it will be Sydney University's ball. So throw in down the right sideline over the head of Poppy Tay. And that will be an easy clean-up here for Charlotte Hogan under no pressure. Jaber. Waiting for the right option to appear. Doesn't like any of them, seemingly. And so veers away over to the left. Garrett. Heard the shout in midfield from Hogan and perhaps left Morris with a bit too much to do with the first time pass. Shouts for handball and the referee agrees, and Garrett infringing there. So a free kick opportunity for Sydney University. So Juliet Harris is going to try to strike it long from the free kick, but it lands in a cluster of Hills players. Uni get a second chance, but they won't be able to take it. Burns backtracking and a deflected clearance out for a throw-in. Here's Morris, stuck in a 1-on-2, and the numbers are going to win out here. Rad pushes it central. It's been cleaned up, though, by Kasha. Jaber. back to Eero. This has been Hill's problem, at least in these early exchanges. They're opting for the long ball because they're struggling to play through the middle. And again, the defenders are the ones left with the choice of having to go wide or go long, and on this occasion they can't connect a pass, and just escaping the defensive half with anything other than a long ball, proving a bit of a challenge for the visitors at the moment. Now out of a battle for possession. Oh, clattering challenge on Macris, but the referee saw nothing untoward, and so Hills come away with the ball. Saino has had the best chance for the visitors so far. Saino attracting two defenders. Underlapping run is promising and just can't be kept in by Stanish Floody over at the right sideline. You can see the press quite high to the edge of the penalty area here on this goal kick. So Scarlet Grey seemingly not going to roll the dice on playing it short out from the back. Morris puts a header on the ball. Saino, Morris. And now Neve Burns cuts it back. Here's Saino, and the defence closes in. Farrow, only as far as Kasha. At the edge of the box, Stanish Floody. And out to the right, Tavares, no, ignored with the pass from Kasha. Decides to give some ground, and Davidson's cross is blocked away. Garrett asking Morris to go to work here, and she dances on the ball, able to turn and face and play it through. Kasha flicking it on. Burns just watched the ball over the shoulder. In comes Baram, and Baram, as she avoided conceding a corner here, the ball, at least to our naked eye, looked out, and the central referee makes the call, with the assistant perhaps blindsided over on the opposite side of the pitch. So a corner kick, second of the game for Hills. And this will favour the right-footed Stanish Floody for a potential in-swinger here. So Scarlet Grey, the goalkeeper, is going to have to be very aware of the direct attempt here. Hills with the taller team today. In-swinger, and it's a glancing header over the bar. Tavares almost ducking away from the ball, but still managed to put it in the direction of the goal, albeit over the crossbar. So Uni having survived a corner down in their defence. Midfield battle resumes. Macris trying to defend from the front against Davidson, who knocked the ball down the right sideline, and it is able to buy a throw in off Hill. "20 minutes ticked over. Scoreless here at the University main ground. Best chance of the game arguably for Amelia Macris of Sydney University in the early exchanges here. Nothing absolutely gilt-edged so far for either team. Here goes Poppy Tay, though, surveying the options, and it looked as though on that phase Madison Van Dyke was running from an offside position, but the pass never arrived anyway. Davidson on the right sideline chops a pass in board. Cho Treganza intercepts. And this is a promising weaving run from Asher Sutton, which has been steered back out to the corner. And that was well played by Kasha to stop Sutton veering towards the box. Centre wide, won the ball, and now the counter might be on here. Morris sees the runners breaking, looking for Neve Burns over the top. A good header from Harris. And she found safety in the form of Hill. Morris goes back, is trying to load up again. Decides to just calm things down a little. Here's Garrett. And now Burns. Little touch back from Stanage Floody, and then Hills trying to advance here, but Sydney Uni well positioned in defence. Burns battling for possession against Baram, and in comes Chotraganza to win the ball away. Has to concede some ground though. Harris. Chotraganza caught from the blind side by Sayeno. Now Stanage Floody over into space. Here's Erin Tavares. Can't take the ball cleanly though. First touch not there when she needed it, and that allowed Farrow to come in and steal it away. Good challenge coming from Davidson at halfway, and now Sayeno facing goal, breaking through the right. Keeper comes out, and good brave goalkeeping from Scarlett Gray. First out to the ball, and Sayeno has had a couple of opportunities to run at the goalkeeper here, but one denied by a slight challenge, the other by some good proactive goalkeeping from Scarlett Gray. Sayeno, Stanage Floody, first time ball, tumbling to the top of the box, cleared by Macris, helping out the defence. And now Davidson. Davidson. Here's Macris. Hits the left channel. One-on-one defending was good. And Tavares able to steer it out for a corner kick. Amelia Macris trying to work through the gears there. And that will lead to a corner for Sydney Uni. So I mentioned at one of the Hills corners, they did have perhaps a height disadvantage Uni. Poppy Tay, maybe Sarah Farrow and Maddie Van Dyke, the most likely players to aim for at a set piece. Having to contend with the height of Garrett, Jaber, Morris. Morris is the one who's marking Poppy Tay here. See, the wind has just picked up here, and it is favouring the end that Sydney Uni are attacking. This will bring the corner in as an in-swinger. Garrett up for the header. Bouncing at the edge of the box. Farrow nods it back. Chotraganza conceding ground all the way back to the halfway line. Baram, and just popping it long, but that's easy pickings for the goalkeeper, Iro, to hold on to there. Stanage Floody trying to start a move from inside the defensive half. Hogan. Burns. Pass intercepted. Chotraganza looks up at the options. Poppy Tay wants the long ball, but it's going right instead. Baram into the middle. A tough scene for Van Dyke, able to at least avoid coughing up the ball there, but she was sold into trouble with Morris right on her case. Farrow switches over to Hill. Hill. It's been launched out for a throw-in by Davidson. Sayeno wins possession for Hills United. Now Stanage Floody sees the runner through the right. Tavares is away, and it's good defending from Farrow coming across to stop her breaking down the right flank. Davidson's throw in. And good combative play from Chotraganza. Attempt to clear is blocked, but Hill is there for Uni. Plays it to Grace Chotraganza. The long ball, Poppy Tay is going to just pull up on chasing after that one, though. A little overhit. comfortably the goalkeeper's ball. Here's Jaber. Long ball right up the middle. Saino chasing and is wrestling to the front position. Has possession now. Harris getting across and the goalkeeper Gray with a good save. The shot was there on a tight angle. And Saino drawing a save out of Scarlett Gray. And the long ball has been Hill's most threatening weapon so far. And that was beautifully measured by Tiana Jaber to set Saino away. Harris did just enough to force Saino to shoot on a tight angle, an angle that the goalkeeper was able to deal with. Now a long ball in return. Poppy Tay chasing it down the right channel. Tay counts it back. First time ball from Murad. Headed away by Jaber, and then the follow-up from Van Dyke is well wide of the target there. Got our first goal of the game, and it will be good news for Sydney Uni. Northern Tigers have taken a 1-0 lead away at the Western Sydney Wanderers. So if Uni were to win today, they could cut the gap to fourth, back to as few as 6 points if that result holds. But it is, of course, only early days in that one out at Wanderers Football Park. Even a good 3 or 4 minutes behind us here. Ball over the top. Saino takes it wide on the right. Uni getting back in numbers. Who's forward in support? Saino keeping the ball through one slide challenge, but the backtracking run able to knock the ball away. Now another chance. Tavares trying to burst forward and couldn't find a deflection off an opponent there. It is out for a goal kick. Farrow, Van Dyke out to the right. Oh, Harris. The ball ran out. Assistant referee all over it on this near side. Just the touch running away and out for a throw. Looks like it was Josie Wilson that scored the goal for the Northern Tigers, so they lead 1-0 over at Wanderers Football Park. The only goal in the 3 5 p.m. games so far in NPL Women's New South Wales. It's scoreless between Manly United and Gladesville Ravens after 30 minutes at Cromer Park. Here's Burns for Hills. Saino turning, has numbers on the right, but that was an important block coming in from Jenny Hill, and now the counter could be on. Tay tries to go around Jaber, and Jaber disguised the contact well enough that there was no free kick there. That was promising there for Hills, though. They had 2 players free out on the right flank, but Jenny Hill able to step in and block the pass, and she's on the ball here now. Farrow, low ball. Tay back to goal. Bit of backspin on the ball that'll sit up kindly for Van Dyke, not quite. Davidson clearing, Cho Treganza. Neither team able to string some passes together here. Back and forth they go. Kasher knocks it back to Davidson. And Aisling Davidson will chase that loose ball and reset down with the goalkeeper. Davidson veers out to the right sideline. Stanish Floody, the underlapping run is on from Saino and Farrow. Oh, caught in possession. Here's the chance for Saino, saved away by Gray. And now Morris on the turn, and there's the opening goal for Hills United. Libby Morris able to finish down into the bottom left corner. Ayasaino's pressure made it happen over on the byline. And after the initial save from Scarlet Grey, it fell kindly into the path of Morris, who was able to sweep it in for 1-0. A bit of chaos in the penalty area for Sydney University defensively, and Hills United are the beneficiaries. Second senior goal of the season for Morris, and it makes the score 1-0 here. Morris, whose only goal previously in the league was, will stay with play here because Van Dijk, running through the right, is almost able to get the instant reply. It's out for a corner kick, but yes, Libby Morris, 4 goals for the campaign, 2 in the cup, 2 in the league, and her most recent league goal was back in round 8 against NWS Spirit. So she pops up here with an important goal, but Uni are looking for an instant response. So, a corner for Sydney University. Sutton, high, Eero leads out with a strong right hand and is able to punch the ball through the penalty area down to the opposite corner. Second time ball attempted, but it's been deflected and then cleared away from Macris. As the ball loops out eventually. Central referee, the centre of some queries from confused players. Are we going to see a drop ball? Is that the call? It appears as though it's going to be a Sydney University drop ball over on the wing. So, restart of play from a drop ball and an instant cross to the edge of the box. Tay, big deflection and not able to run it down as it works its way out for a goal kick. So, as I mentioned, Hills can't go up the ladder in seniors today, but as things stand, they'd be moving to 20 points within 1 of 10th placed MacArthur and 9th placed Sydney Olympic, and within 2 of Gladesville as things currently stand. So put themselves in a good position to start to advance up the table, and crucially, if they were to bank all 12 points for seniors in the club championship today, they would move to 100 competition points and well clear of the relegation place currently occupied by Western City Rangers on 47. Here's Jaber. Wants someone to present for the ball. Not many options. She finds a way out to the left to Burns. And then Burns, her square ball is intercepted by Van Dijk. Referee taking evasive action in midfield. Sutton, little glance on, but Macris can't get the better of Davidson. Garrett. Ball down the left. Shoulder-to-shoulder challenge from Burns against Baram. And Baram concedes a corner kick. And so Stanish-Floody will again go over to the left side and deliver a right-footed corner. So here's the corner from Mary Stanish-Floody, high to a central position and lands in the 6-yard box, and Morris has got 2. Able to lift it in out of a penalty area scrap, and having come into today scoring only 1 goal for the league season, Libby Morris has scored 2 in the first half. And Hills United have doubled their lead in short order, and Sydney Uni in need of some answers now as Hills go 2-0 up. was Morris making the initial challenge, and she was just first to react to the balls that bounced in the 6-yard box, lifting it in with a little touch on the right foot. Not too much power behind it, but just enough placement to leave Scarlet Grey out of the equation. And so that's 5 goals in all competitions for Morris, 3 in the league, 2 in the cup. And Uni immediately on the attack again. Down the left flank, the cut across is going to be not cleared by Morris. Big swing at the ball, but didn't quite strike it truly. Eventually away at the second time of asking. Jenny Hill pushing into the attacking half and is able to win a throw-in for Sydney Uni. Ball from the left here. It's going to slide on, and Iro is sure-handed in at the near post. A couple of players lurking for a potential spill, but in the blink of an eye, it's up to the halfway line with Garrett, asking a lot of Sano, but we'll get a second chance here. Jessica Garrett waving players out of the cluster, trying to make a bit of space. Kasha over to the right for Davidson. Now back inside for Jaber. Rard. First time ball from Baram is going to take a deflection out for a Uni throw. Throw in by Baram. Plenty of distance on a long throw. Garrett up for the header. Burns. Bodied late, but the referee watching it unfold from a distance. Rard. Trying to squeeze the ball down the line. Tay in a wrestle. Hogan able to stand her ground. Morris. Now Sano almost treading on the toes of Burns. They work it out eventually, but have to concede a bit of ground. We're into the last 5 minutes of regulation in the first half here with visiting Hills United ahead 2-0. Stanage Floody in midfield. Able to turn and look up, but 2 blocks of midfield and defence. A decisive pass coming from Jaber. Kasha running through the right side of the box, and Macris able to win the ball backtracking. Sutton lays it off. Macris hustling but can't get to the ball before the line. And so it will be a throw-in for Hills United. The ball tumbles into the box. Harris's clearance deflected, and then Van Dijk able to get a bit more distance. Challenge comes in from Davidson. And now the ball extracted away. Sutton running, and that's a great tackle from Davidson to win the ball. It's going to send a pass through the right side. Stanage Floody putting the pressure on Harris here, and Harris takes a touch along the line and eventually sees it out for a throw-in. Avoided conceding a corner. Tiana Jaber from a standing start strikes a high ball over the head of Morris, who's on a hat-trick, don't forget. And breaking out to the right, Baram leads the race. Garrett confronted by Rard. Rard conceding some ground. Harris, Farrow, scoops the ball high and away. Poppy Tay bowled over by Jessica Garrett. A clumsy foul from Garrett. How much intent is going to be attributed to it here, though, by the referee, who's calling the defender over for a chat. Certainly the home fans think that cards should be coming out of the pocket, but the referee might feel differently here. It's just a conversation. and a last warning. No booking. We haven't had a yellow card in the game so far. And so a long-range free kick is the outcome here for Sydney Uni. Plenty of numbers committed forward for the home side. Baram to take the free kick. Strikes it high. It's going to bend to the penalty spot. Allowed to fall in the box and then hooked away. Jaber first to react and clear it to safety. A goal back before the break for Uni, though, would certainly boost their confidence. Chotraganza. Turned by Van Dijk. Cleared by Jaber at the edge of the box. Now a battle for possession ensues. Van Dijk pops it out to the wing. Sutton is there. Sutton with a left-footed cross, which is deflected behind for a corner. There's been a goal up at Cromer Park. Manly United have taken a 1-0 lead late in the first half against Gladesville Ravens, so we've had goals in every game now. Northern Tigers leading Wanderers 1-0. Manly United 1-0 against Gladesville. And so Sydney Uni trying to halve the deficit here. Looping corner to the near post. Tay almost jumped over the ball. And as it's cleared out beyond the wall here behind the goal at the right of screen, Tiana Jaber did knock over Poppy Tay there, but the referee hasn't seen any cause to pay a penalty. They're getting a spare ball in. Hopefully there's a ball kid or a passerby who can go and grab the one that's been booted over the fence. Poppy Tay had her shoe taken off by that challenge from Jaber, so she's still seated here, just restoring the footwear before she can get back to her feet and challenge again for another corner kick. Repeat corners for Sydney Uni. Another high looping in swinger. First head was away from Garrett, bouncing to the edge of the box. Van Dijk, bodied by the challenge of Sano, shouts for handball against the Uni player, and the referee agrees. And that will take us into stoppage at the end of the first half. No fourth official on today's game, so it'll all be at the discretion of the central referee, Jerry Bittas. How long have Uni got to chase one of these goals back? Chotraganza. Macris. Now Harris. And a deflected pass away. Baram to take the throw in. Great exponent of the long throw. This one is contested by Tay. In comes Hogan for a spectacular looking challenge, but there's no foul, and it's the last act of the first half. A half that did drift for a fair portion of it, but the opening goal certainly brought Hills United to life, and they scored twice in the space of 3 minutes. Libby Morris with both of them, her second and third goals of the league season. And it has Hills United sitting in an enviable position both today and in the context of the club championship. They're 2-0 up here against Sydney University. You'll see some stats and some highlights during the halftime break.
It's a lot because I think it's a high reward for us. We've been working really hard this season, and to get a spot in the final, it's a challenge, but we're ready to take it and hopefully we'll get a good result.
To even be in the Sapphire Cup final is an amazing achievement just to get here for my team and myself. But as a club, this was one of our goals from the start of the season, and to even get here is just like incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game because they've been doing really well in the midfield. I know it's going to be a challenge. They've also got the good backline, Poppy. They've got the good forwards as well.
Manly are definitely a hard team to crack down. As you could see, the first time we played them in the season, it was a fight till the end of the match. A few new players as well, so I think it's going to be definitely a big fight.
I think having our fans there, family, it'll mean so much to us. Like, we'll get the job done for them and we'll really feel their support in the stands, I think, as we play this game. It'll be a good game of football to watch, so I think everyone should come down because it'll be entertaining.
Yeah, well, it's a grand final, right? These games mean so much to us, to our fans, to everyone. Women's football is so big in Australia, so I think coming out here is like the first step of actually driving that.
Every week, hundreds of thousands of people turn up around football grounds around New South Wales. Parents, kids, refs, coaches and volunteers. Cardiac incidents can happen to anyone at any time on the pitch.
Right now, not every club has a defibrillator.
And the ones that do are not always maintained or ready to use. In a critical moment, with a defib, that could save lives. That's why Football New South Wales, St John Ambulance and Toyota have come together for Every Beat Matters to help clubs around New South Wales to access defibrillators, cover maintenance and build a register so we know exactly where every unit is around the state. All you need to do is buy a ticket through Raffletix. $5 can make a difference. Every ticket goes towards funding defibrillators and maintenance for clubs that need it most. A live fundraising board shows exactly how much is being raised. And every ticket you buy puts you in the draw to win a Toyota Corolla. One ticket, real impact. Help your club be ready when it matters. So buy your ticket today.
Now Lancaster leaves the ball for Golding, who is able to clear long. Letter can make a contest here. It's a shallow header from Page. Letter trying to capitalise with a lob, and she does. Morrow to Sullivan. Ruby Sullivan with a pass to Ella Abdulmasih. And Abdulmasih with the return ball. Sullivan makes ground, lifts it high. Halmerick up in the air, and Halmerick scores the equaliser. Going to be Talia Capitan-Ellis with her left foot. A pack of players wait in the 6-yard box. High to the back post, and it's there! Jamie Bofels has come through, and with a good header has put Apia in front.
Heading into the last 15 minutes here at Popondetta Park. We're still 0-0. Camilleri. Looking to get the shot away to Wazinski. And what a goal there from Adelaide Wazinski! But they're going to have to defend this corner here from Manly. Oh. And Manly have put it in from that corner.
Straight to the feet for Sarkis, who sends it down the line for Kassar. Oh, gets around one, gets around two, still going. Danger here for Hills. Oh, what a wonderful goal! How did she sneak that through? Kassar with the corner. It's a tight one. Oh, that's unbelievably in. So, crunch time for Hills United here. High to the back post. Oh, it's headed in. And they just nodded off at the back post. Oh, well read. Static Floody who goes. Oh, very Static Floody. Oh, that's at least 25 out. That's a stunner.
An opportunity for the Bulls to get off to a positive start here at the Crest. Dos Santos with a good penalty, sends the keeper the wrong way. And it's a comeback.
Welcome back to the main ground at Sydney University, where at halftime of this NPL Women's Round 19 match, it is 2-0 in favour of visiting Hills United. A double from Libby Morris in the first half. And Sydney University seeking a way back into the contest here. Doing a quick scan around the pitch, I'll bring you any substitutions at the start of the second half. Right now it's Uni to kick off, attacking the left of your screens here in the second 45. And underway with Isabella Rudd taking kick-off. And straight away, the player with the 2 goals to her name, Libby Morris, is in possession. Playing it back to Natalie Kasher. And now out to the left flank, and Neve Burns. It does look as though Hills are unchanged from the 11 that started the game, as Maddie Ero clears here. Jenny Hill taking possession for Sydney Uni, and through comes Maddie Van Dyke with a tumbling run, and then an attempted through ball which is picked up and claimed by Maddie Ero. And there has been one sub for Sydney Uni, because Ella McCann in the number 14 shirt, the New Zealander newly arrived to the club, is on for her first appearance. And she'll be leading the line here, the former Wellington Phoenix player. It's a sub that has seemingly pushed Asher Sutton out to the left. Amelia Macris remains over on the right. And Poppy Tay is the player that has made way at half-time. So a change at the point of attack for the home side rather than a change in formation, and Tay is the player to have left the game. Good chase from Sutton, forced a pass which Macris can capitalise on here, and then just left the ball behind in the challenge of Garrett. Now Kasher trying to find Tavares through the right, but Jenny Hill came across and, well, concedes a throw in as she tumbles out of play. Morris able to will herself onto the ball. Tavares denied in the challenge. Sutton. Macris trying to roll away from Hogan, and Sutton into open space. Advantage given by the referee. Only McCann ahead of the ball. Sutton on a weaving run. Now looks up and has the ball taken off her by Davidson. But the follow-up here from Jenny Hill. A diagonal pass, and that is overhit. So Macris not able to chase it down. And out it goes. So looking at the Uni lineup, Scarlett Gray in goal, Sarah Farrow and also Juliet Harris are the centre-backs. Left-back Jenny Hill. Over at right-back is Sienna Baram. In midfield, Grace Cho Treganza in the number 30 shirt, along with Maddie Van Dyke and also Isabella Rudd, who's on the ball here. And then the front three, Amelia Macris on the right, Ella McCann in the middle, and Asher Sutton over on the left. Here go Hills United. Neve Burns, early ball, just not quite to the advantage of Saino. Morris follows up, little step over from Stanich Floody was clever. Now played back to Kasher. And here's Hogan. Hill's happy to slow things down here. Kasher. Sutton with a volley. McCann brings the ball down. Van Dyke. And now the defenders converge. And it's held on to by Ero. So looking at the Hills team, Maddie Ero in goal, Tiana Jaber and also Jessica Garrett, the 2 centre-backs. The ball is played out to the left here, popped on first time by Mary Stanich Floody. It's there to be one in midfield. Morris challenging. Maybe a trailing arm there on Libby Morris. She stays down, but play continues. Van Dyke with a long ball that will be seized upon by Ero. So Aisling Davidson is out at right back. They're almost, I think, playing a back three and then Charlotte Hogan in the number 4 shirts willing to step into defence. A bit of misadventure here from the goalkeeper, Iro, and Macris puts the chance wide of an empty net. It was an instep side footer, and Iro, who'd gone venturing out of her penalty area, got caught in possession, squirmed the ball away, and that was a big chance for Uni to halve the deficit. We have seen both teams be a bit more cautious with regards to playing long ball out from the back rather than attempting to play through any press from the opposition, and perhaps that was a reminder why they're ultimately the chance well over the crossbar, and at least from our angle looked like it might have gone wide as well. Shouts coming from Paul Tassis on the sideline of Hills in light of that recent opportunity. So, throw in here, down the sideline from Davidson. Breaks into midfield, Rard. Stanic Floody gets a touch. Morris. Van Dijk takes over for Uni. Chotraganza plays it to Macris. She tries to go on a solo run and is scythed down in midfield. Garrett again leaves the scene. Well, those with long memories might remember her getting told off for a last warning in the first half, but the referee not thinking about a card. And so Uni's free kick comes to little. Now flicked on down the left sideline. It's a clever touch from Burns, venturing into the midfield. Kasha switching out to the right. Davidson is there. Had Tavares wider, but wants to cut into the middle, and now the pass comes, and Tavares not on the same wavelength there. That's going to run out for a goal kick. Yeah, this Hills formation is interesting. It looks like it's a really wide set back three with Garrett on the left, Jaber in the middle, and Davidson on the right, and then Hogan, a defensive midfielder in front of them. Neve Burns able to drop back if needed, but largely playing on the left side of midfield as Tavares is on the right, and then a midfield duo in the centre of Kasher and Morris, and then a front two of Stanic Floody and Saino. Yeah, you wouldn't say Charlotte Hogan is playing really as a dedicated centre-back. She's just dropping in when the situation calls for it. Question is, can Uni make that defence go to work right here? We've had 7 minutes of the second half. Rard plays the ball back to Chotraganza. Here's Saino. Bit of space to work with for Stanic Floody now. He's got Tavares breaking through the right. Stanic Floody wants to steer it back left and might find a way through here. And Saino puts it into the side netting. Harris was getting across to try to cover, but A.S. Saino still willing to take a flying attempt and couldn't quite twist it back onto the target. Only the 2 goals so far this season, the Japanese, and Hills have largely shared their goals around throughout the course of the campaign. They haven't been reliant on one particular player to do the heavy lifting. Case in point with Libby Morris popping up today for her second and third goals of the campaign. Hills have only won the 5 games out of 18, so a 6th win today would be a great result for them. And would be 2 in 3 weeks, given that they were able to get the better of Sydney Olympic back in round 17. So certainly an uptick in form that pretty much every team in the bottom half of the table has had to sit up and take notice of. Northwest Sydney Spirit's revival after effectively signing an entirely new starting 11 during the transfer window, breathing quite a bit of life back into the relegation battle. Rudd. Out to the right, can't quite connect with Baram. Recapping the benches for both teams, Sydney Uni, Evie Fisher, backup goalkeeper, Talia Sambrook, Noor Hijazi, Letitia Zek, Julia Chu, and Georgia Lim all waiting to come on. We've seen Ella McCann come on for Poppy Tay at half-time, while Hills United, their bench, Nicola Simmons, Brooke Hasty, Ellen Berrios, Bianca Zwereb, Cardia Fragale, Montana Rose Curry, and Olga Gastoratos. Farrow. Now Sutton being steered away from the target by Kasha, who is able to spill the ball to Saino. Neve Burns. And she's stopped by a stand-up tackle from Baram. Well, the game just drifting 10 minutes into the second half here. Sydney Uni looking for that spark to try and get them into the game. They've had a half chance for Amelia Macris from distance. Can they create something a bit closer to the target, a bit more meaningful? There will be some good news from around the grounds because the Northern Tigers have gone 2-0 up against the Western Sydney Wanderers. So if there is any good news for Sydney Uni, it's that they're not losing any ground on fourth spot at the moment. The problem is that they're not closing any ground on fourth spot themselves. Here's Tavares forcing the ball forward. Farrow, goalkeeper's an option here. Saino coming in to close down, and that forces a hurried clearance from Scarlett Gray out for a throw-in. Looks like Charlotte Mortlock, I think, is the goal scorer around the grounds. We'll stay with action here. Sutton on the ball. To the edge of the box. Sutton on a tight angle. Went for power. Tried to beat Iro with a really forcefully hit left-footed drive, but it just kept rising. She'd run herself onto an acute angle there and not able to keep the shot down when she went for it. That would have been her 10th of the season, Sutton. She's on 9 for the campaign in the league. Tavares, tough bouncing pass to control. Jenny Hill. And the referee is going to bring it back for the handball. The appeals have been answered. It was Olivia Cartwright who scored the second goal at Wanderers Football Park that has the Northern Tigers 2-0 up against the Western Sydney Wanderers. So it's a result that might be a hammer blow to any aspirations they had of sticking with the top three in the title race. Given that we've already seen Harpier and Bulls win this weekend. Van Dijk through the left. Hill confronted at the line, and it's going to be out for a corner kick off Davidson. She's making her case to the referee, but Sydney Uni with plenty of numbers waiting in the middle. Davidson was able to stop the cross from arriving, albeit at the expense of conceding a corner. Corner which Asher Sutton will take. Into a big pack of players. A forcefully struck header cleared off the line. The follow-up sliced away. And then Jenny Hill with a deflection. It's out for another corner. It was great defending on the goal line from Neve Burns, stopping the initial chance. And then in the follow-up, it does appear as though Mary Stanich-Floody was the one who bore the brunt of swinging feet and the ball being booted right back into the mixer. And the trainer has been called out here. Having another look at the stream, it was Jenny Hill's header which was cleared off the line initially, and then she was the one who drove that follow-up chance out. But a really good chance for Sydney University. They'll be encouraged by winning the first header at the corner. Hill's defensive setup able to prevent them from conceding. So, Stanish Floody slowly able to get to her feet. It does mean it's going to be 11 versus 10 at this corner as well, because she's going to have to wait to be waved back onto the pitch. So, repeat corners here for Sydney Uni and a player advantage. Can they make it count? Most of their attackers are congregated beyond the back post here, waiting for Asher Sutton to strike the corner. It's going to slide and land in the area. Hill with an attempted volley, which is cleared away. And now Macris looking for a burst of acceleration. Twists it into the near post, where Garrett is able to deal with the danger and send it out for a throw-in. And Stanish Floody is still looking quite proppy, but she's hobbling back on here to rejoin the Hills' defensive effort and restore 11 players each. Long throw coming in, knotted down. It's all Hills at the fall of the ball. Kasher plays it out in front of Stanish Floody, but the pass has been seized upon by Van Dyke. Now Hills had a bright minute or two trying to get Uni back into the contest. Baram out to Hill. Underlapping run from Sutton is not promising, because she left it behind at the key moment. Goes back and retrieves the ball in a particularly bare patch of the surface, but she's still able to keep it at her feet, drive it in at the near post. Not quite away. Hill through, tees it up. Van Dyke has to turn away from the penalty area, sends it back to Harris. Now Farrow. Macris trying to turn away from trouble, and Farrow comes back through, wins the ball, whips in across, and the header from McCann is over the bar. And that was a great ball in from Sarah Farrow, and Ella McCann rising to the header, not quite able to get over the ball, and it just looped out in the end. And I think Hills have seen enough here on the sideline. They're going to make a defensive change, recognising that Sydney Uni are getting on top here, and it's Bianca Zwereb, the former Bianca Gallieni, who is coming on, and it's Erin Tavares who is coming off. So Zwereb in the number 10 shirt comes on here, and it appears as though that's going to lead to a switch of wingers, with Neve Burns coming over to the right and Zwereb heading over to the left. So fresh legs, here's Zwereb straight into the action, and a touch which must have caught a Uni player as it's gone out for a Hills throw-in. Bouncing ball up to Saino. Saino's through ball is incisive, and Neve Burns is away. She's one-on-one against the keeper and finishes with aplomb. And it's a stroke of genius from the sideline to switch Neve Burns over to the right. And in the first phase of play, after the swap, she's through on goal to score and make it 3-0 to Hills United. It was an unerring finish as well. And it was a brilliant crossfield ball that set her out into space. And there would be no mistake once she was one-on-one against the keeper. And Neve Burns, already the top scorer this season for Hills United in the league, has her fourth of the campaign. And it's the sort of sub that will have all of the sideline giving high fives, because Burns was switched over to the right wing when the sub was made, and perhaps that caught out Sydney Uni there. She hadn't scored since round 9, Neve Burns, so been waiting a while to add her fourth goal of the campaign. And throw in one in the cup, so that's 5 in all competitions for her. And even though Sydney University had a couple of decent opportunities to cut the deficit back to 2-1, now they find themselves 3-0 down and needing something a bit special if they're to leave with anything tonight. Hills scoring almost at the perfect time, you'd have to say. to stifle any sort of a comeback. And they'll be filled with confidence here. Stanic Floody challenging against Farrow. Van Dyke caught in possession. Now Chotraganza. Back pass all the way to the keeper. Gray takes a touch, invites on Sayano. Clears only as far as Burns. Oh, Sayano might have been onside there. There was a very deep defender standing behind her, but maybe she wasn't to know. And the ball is cleared away. Chotraganza finds Rad. Well, an errant pass. Burns trying to capitalise on it. She's got Sayano ahead of the ball. And the defence trying to close in. They can't dispossess her yet. Sayano runs into a cluster of uni defenders. And then bursting in from the wing was Zoreb. And she's denied the ball. And it's going to be cleared out to the safety of the touchline. Given that they had only scored 19 goals in 18 games coming into today, perhaps won't surprise you to learn that this is the first time that Hills United have scored 3 in an NPL New South Wales game this season. And the only time they'd scored more was in a couple of their cup ties against the Southern Districts Raiders and also East Gosford City. So they're enjoying it here at the University Ground this evening as McCann takes a flyer from the right side and sends that well high and wide. And Uni are going to respond here. Talia Sandbrook is coming on. And leaving the pitch on the outer side is the number 37, Sienna Baram. So we're going to see a defensive shuffle. It looks as though Farrow is heading out to right back and Sandbrook is coming on in the middle of defence. So Hill at left back, Farrow at right back, and now Harris and also Sandbrook playing in the middle. Yeah, if there was a game where Hills could have asked for their first time to score 3 in a game this season, now it's pretty much perfect. Western City Rangers losing yesterday. Illawarra Stingrays also beaten earlier today. That battle in the club championship certainly heating up, given that Spirit had a convincing win in seniors and reserves yesterday and seemingly are going to take care of business, steering themselves clear of any relegation danger. Hills narrowly losing the under-23s earlier today, 1-0. So they didn't want to leave empty-handed. And right now they've got a 3-goal buffer. It's going to help them immensely. Here's a long shot coming in from Chotraganza, and it's blocked down and cleared away by Jaber. So, long throw for Sydney Uni. Headed away by Garrett. And now a shot in the box from Rad. Not quite able to generate the power, and Iro comes out to collect. Jaber directing traffic, waving her teammates on, but there was no one to pass to, and it's been intercepted by Hill, who is trying to come back in the other direction. She's stood up by Jaber. Now Burns. Morris. Jaber back into the middle, and a push in the back there coming from McCann. Knocks over Libby Morris and gives away a free kick. Bit of time being taken here by Morris to retie her bootlace. Here's Burns, full of confidence after scoring the most recent goal, but not able to get the better of Chotraganza. She will get another chance here. Great pass from Stanic Floody. Burns, a low drive and cleared from the edge of the 6-yard box by the newly arrived Sandbrook. And Chotraganza calms things down, playing it back to Scarlett Gray. Clearance only as far as Morris, though. She pushes it on. Saino at the edge of the box, and Sandbrook again at large, able to win the ball. Farrow keeps it moving. Hogan couldn't take the ball, and now half a chance here for McCann. Has got Sutton running through the middle here. Ella McCann tried to force it forward, and there were just enough numbers back for Hills United to stop the attack heading any further. Davidson hustling against the line, not quite able to keep it in. Burns, good little 50-50 win. Now Stanic Floody, a bending, teasing ball, and the oncoming goalkeeper able to get there just before Sayano. 20 minutes of regulation to go, and Hills look as likely to score a fourth, if not more likely, than Uni are to grab a goal back here. Elsewhere around the grounds, Wanderers 0, Tigers 2, and Manly 1 leading Gladesville 0. Sano on the ball again, caught in possession by Rard. Macris. Rard again. It's a real tussle for the ball. It's just cleared along the line, and away comes Macris, able to send the ball forward. Now through the middle, here's a chance for Van Dijk. It's blocked away. Iro in combination there with Davidson. They did enough, and they see it out for a corner kick. We've seen Asher Sutton take all the corners from the left side so far, and now she's run over to the right here. So Sutton not wasting any time over the corner kick run-up. In-swinging corner, and a good defensive header by Garrett away. At the edge of the box, Van Dijk able to free the feet. The shot blocked immediately, and now Hills can counter. Stanic Floody trying to send Zwereb through the left channel, but it was short-circuited and blocked down by Harris. Macris, collected by Garrett. And there is the much-anticipated yellow card. It has been in the offing, and Jessica Garrett has perhaps tested the patience of what must be said has been a very lenient referee today, but eventually the first yellow card of the game is out of the pocket, and it is Jessica Garrett who has received it. And it'll be a free kick to Sydney Uni, some way from the penalty area over on the right. So the first booking of the game administered, and now Sydney University get to take the resulting free kick. It's going to be Amelia Macris over on the right side of midfield. A line of attackers to aim for. Here comes the set piece. It's an emphatic header away by Zwereb. Now Hills, can they launch a counter? Saino pushes it out to the left. Zwereb is there, having made ground. Back to Garrett. Now Hogan. It's a tight network of passes. They've got to be sharp. Jaber just pops it into the midfield. Burns is able to turn and send it out to the right. Aisling Davidson is off and running and nearly able to make it, but the ball just kept tumbling on and eventually found its way out for a throw-in. Van Dijk against Morris. Morris lunging in. Van Dijk back to her feet, and eventually the ball is deflected out, and it's going to be a Hills United throw. It's getting enough going their way at the moment in general play. So Davidson up to Saino. Saino turns and breaks into the box, squares it. Here's a chance for Zwereb. Bit of a loose touch. The ball is there to be won. Morris goes to ground. Referee doesn't reach for the whistle though. Sutton back helping out in defence. Little back pass. Sandbrook deflected. Danger not yet averted. Now the goalkeeper, Gray, will come out and collect. A bit of chaos in the defensive penalty area though for Uni. Now A long ball is going to drift out for a throw-in. So the finals race looks as follows. Western Sydney Wanderers on 37, 9 clear of Sydney Uni on 28. Northern Tigers currently jumping up to 27. They've got an outside hope, 10 points with only 6 games to go. And then Manly United, if they hold on to their 1-0 lead against Gladesville, would move to 26. So Wanderers with a fairly substantial buffer, but certainly today's result was a must-win for the Northern Tigers to maintain any hope of closing the gap to the top 4. And so far, they're not just doing themselves a big favour, but Uni and also Manly as well, hanging in there with an outside chance. The problem is, one of those 3 clubs has to put together, you'd think, at least a 5-game run as part of their remaining 7 games. If you're going to make up 10 points, they need Wanderers to stop to a standstill and come home like a freight train themselves. And on the evidence of today, Sydney Uni do seem a little bit far away from such a run. They have not won consecutive games, Sydney Uni, since round 8 and 9. So they've been waiting quite some time to string a bit of form together. And again today, they've only got 14 minutes to launch an almighty comeback. And if anything, Hills try to break away and win in style. The ball is down at their attacking end. Zareba into ground. Jaber, Morris, back to Jaber. And now Hogan. Here's Jaber. Long ball and off and running with Stanish Floody, hoping that Hill wouldn't anticipate the pass, but Hill read it best in the air. Sutton leaves it with Hill, pops it back at close quarters to Asher Sutton. And Hill advancing through the left here. Jenny Hill at the edge of the box, looking up at Tiana Jaber, squares it, hoping for Van Dyke, and couldn't find her. Kasha won the ball away. Now Stanish Floody sends it early. And Aya Saino is off and running. She's wide on the right, though. Sandbrook right there with her. Saino takes possession. Is going to square it back. Stanish Floody, a little back heel was clever. And the ball hits the crossbar from the resulting shot. Oh, that would have been a delightful goal had Hills found a way to hit the back of the net. Kasha is denied by the width of the crossbar. And now Stanish Floody into the box. They can still attack. Not quite. The ball is cleared away from Morris. Well, had that hit the net, it probably would have led all the highlights packages at the club awards dinner at the end of the season for the Hills Club, because that was a glorious little move. Stanish Floody with a touch of class. And then Cash's shot thundering back off the crossbar. So double sub coming, and Garrett going into the book has seemingly prompted the Hills United sideline to make a change here. They're not going to leave anything to chance. Ayasano coming off as well. So Ellen Berrios, who scored when the teams played earlier in the season, comes on, as does the number 37, Montana Rose Curry. And it looks as though Charlotte Hogan is going to drop back into a more dedicated centre-back role now, with Curry coming on over on the left. And Berrios can now lead the line for Hills United. Ayasano's had a great evening tonight. May not have scored herself, but she's been at the heart of everything in an attacking sense, not least her hustle to win the ball back at the byline and tee up Libby Morris for the opening goal, which, to be fair at the time, is the tipping point in the game for Hills to get on top. They've played with real belief since. It was a bit more of an arm wrestle and an even contest before that, but they've been great in the ascendancy in this game, Hills, and really gone on with the job. Ball out to the right. Farrow herring after the ball and now takes an aggressive touch, which she's going to try to run down here. She gets there before the line, but really good committed defending from the most recently arrived sub in order to see it out for a corner kick. And that's all credit to Curry there, who just stuck with her. Fresh legs off the bench on show there. And she was able to stay with Farrow and put it behind for a corner. So another corner for Sydney Uni. They've had plenty in the game. In swing into the near post and headed away by Davidson. Chotraganza with a little pop-up volley and not able to dip it. Just veers out wide to the right. And that takes us into the final 10 minutes of action here at the Sydney University main ground. Next weekend, Sydney Uni off to Linwood Park on Sunday. They play the Macarthur Rams, who themselves are certainly smarting from a 4-2 defeat yesterday. Well beaten by Northwest Sydney Spirit. And Hills United, they have Manly United at Valentine Sports Park. And it will be Manly coming off a short week after the Cup final on Wednesday night. So almost ideal circumstances for Hills. They can sit back and watch the Cup final and do all their preparation work on Manly United and then play them on off the short break next weekend. They might be hoping Manly win so that the turnaround's even shorter due to celebrating. The chase is on here, and the goalkeeper, Gray, is out to pick up the ball. Davidson battling for the ball, able to lunge forward. Aerial duel in midfield. Kasha up against Chotraganza. Out steps Sambrook. Farrow. Rard immediately confronted by Burns. Pops it over the top though. McCann broke away from the ball. Still rapid though. Not quite able to chase it down before a compatriot Ero could pick up the ball. And Matty Ero looking to hold on to a clean sheet here for Hills United. Bouncing ball, Hill. Morris. Stanish Floody. And Berrios coming back from an offside position, flagged over on the near side. Uni still chasing, still persisting. Their goal difference coming into today was +9, so it's down to +6 now. We're going to see another double change here for Hills United. And it's going to be Brooke Hasty coming on. She's in the number 6 shirt, and also Katia Fragale coming on as well. And Mary Stanish Floody and Natalie Kasha are the two players coming off. They nearly linked up for what would have been a sensational goal only a couple of minutes ago. And now their numbers are up. So Stanish Floody and Kasha head to the sidelines, and on come Hasty and also Fragale. No change to the score in the other two games. Still Wanderers 2, Tigers 0. Manly 1, Gladesville 0. Free kick for Uni here. Wide free kick here for Asher Sutton. She hasn't stopped trying. Skies the free kick over the head of McCann, and just too much on it. Out for another goal kick. It hasn't quite been Uni's night. They're going to make a change here. Noor Hijazi is going to come on. And it looks like it's Grace Chotraganza who is running over to the sideline. So Hijazi comes on. And Chotraganza, who's been very busy in midfield today for Uni, hard working in the centre of the park. she takes her leave. It looks as though it's a midfielder off for an attacker. So Hijazi goes right in at the top of the attack, and it's now almost a front four of sorts with Ella McCann. Amelia Macris is still out there over on the right, and Asher Sutton on the left. Here's Rard playing the ball back to Sambrook. Hijazi, first involvement off the bench, and just sold the return pass a little short to Hill. They do get another chance here with a quickly taken throw, but it's bouncing on. Jaber determined to keep the clean sheet intact. They have come at regular intervals for Hills this season. One of the keys to their almost mid-table position is that in spite of being quite a goal-shy team, they have been able to keep a number of clean sheets, be them 1-0 wins, 0-0 draws throughout the campaign. If they do close this out, it'll be their 5th league clean sheet of the campaign. Here's Wareb. He's got support from Burns, uses her now. Burns wants to step out into space, but she's being given none by Jenny Hill. Plays it back to one of the recently arrived subs in Fregale. And now Burns, a little skip on the ball, able to create some separation. Drives a low cross. Farrow able to steer it over to a teammate in Harris. Davidson. Now Hogan. Hogan, well, a bit of a hospital pass there. It's been picked off by Rard, but Davidson's going to make amends and just clears for distance. Down to the goalkeeper. Dying embers of this one, safe to say. There won't be a need for a huge amount of stoppage. We did have one delay for Mary Stanage Floody being treated after a scramble at a corner kick. Think back to that moment. We'll stay with the attempt here from Rard as she runs onto the ball. But had Jenny Hill's header found a way past Neve Burns on the post, it would have been 2-1 and game right back on. And instead, Hills were able to withstand that pressure and have made it count in terms of adding a third goal and an even greater safety net. And there could be a late twist out at Wanderers Football Park, because in the 82nd minute, Talia Eunice has scored, and so it's now Northern Tigers 2, Western Sydney Wanderers 1. And in terms of slamming the door shut to the top four, Wanderers are the team that have the big gap on the chasing pack at the moment. Uni, Tigers and Manly, if they can even get back to a draw today, that would be a bit of a hammer blow for all of those teams outside the top four looking in. And that game's a little bit behind this one, so we'll finish first here at the Sydney University main ground. Uni still trying to find a goal, a consolation at the end of this one, but a little bit too much aggression over on the wing from Rard, and gives away a free kick. And that'll take us into the last minute of the 90. I think the assistant referee is signalling to the Uni bench that there will only be 3 or 4. He's trying to count the fingers on his hand as he flashed a signal to Xavier Taylor on the Uni bench. Whatever the number was, he wasn't happy to only see one handful of fingers rather than 2. Morris, her 2 goals in the first half, crucial in the game. She's battling here and not able to displace Maddie Van Dyke off the ball. She wins the free kick. Van Dyke wasting no time. Launches it high. Sutton outpointed in the air by Jaber. And Jaber sends it to the perimeter fence and over the touchline. So into stoppage we tick at the end of the 90. Defensive header to clear for Hills. Zwereb plays the ball to Hogan. Now Berrios waiting for the underlapping run of Zwereb. And she's not able to advance the ball any further. Back pass here. Hijazi making it just a little difficult for Iro, but she was composed over the clearance. Now Burns against Hill. Hill trying to find a way forward. Burns sticking to her and is able to spill possession. Fragale turning, distributing to Neve Burns. Back to Jaber. Now Hogan and Burns. Morris sends the ball through the right. Davidson making a forward run, has got Berrios in the middle, and the cross is blocked out by Van Dyke, and that'll suit Hills just fine as they retain possession down at their attacking end. And we've ticked 1 minute and 15 seconds into stoppage time at the end of the night. No hint of mucking around with the ball down in the corner here from Hills, though. They're happy that 3-0 is enough of a buffer to keep playing rather than waste time. Truth be told, they have come close to scoring a fourth goal on a few occasions, so why not use the corner kick as intended. Here is Zwereb delivering the corner, and it's going to fall kindly for Berrios, and she slices it just above the top right corner, a little bit high and a little bit wide. And that will take us to 2 minutes expired of additional time. Long ball out to the right. Farrow down the line. Curry right there. And able to win a throw-in for Hills. So Curry's throw down the line. Berrios. Van Dyke, Farrow, back to the centre of defence. Sambrook, square ball dangerous. Burns nearly able to nick in before Harris. Possession has still been given away. Hogan, and now Morris. Berrios. And the ball clipped on. Burns has made a run. The flag is up for offside. And the finish hit the post, but the whistle had already gone. And that will take us to 3 minutes expired of additional time. Perhaps into the last 60 seconds now for these two teams. Clear winner today in Hills United. They've taken their chances. Sydney Uni will be left to rue. Just a couple of flashpoints. End of the first half, start of the second, where they could have cut the deficit in particular to 2-1. But Hills are going to leave with 3 points. And Morris is going to send it out here to Berrios. Maybe a chance for one last hurrah here for the visiting side. Cross comes in from Davidson, and it's a hard one header there for Zwereb. And put it down as a header on target, but not one with enough power to really trouble the goalkeeper. Macris. Farrow. And the full-time whistle goes. Hills United, 3 goals in a game for the first time this league season, and they have made it count away at Sydney Uni. A first-half double from Libby Morris, and then a great finish from Neve Burns to make it 3 in the second half. Sydney Uni had their chances to get back into the contest, but Hills, crucially, they don't move up the senior table, but they move to 100 competition points in the club championship, and they take a big step towards ensuring that their first season up in the top flight will result in a second. They're not mathematically safe, but they have taken a big, big step towards securing that safety in the coming weeks. Sydney Uni will leave to news that maybe they're getting a favour from the Northern Tigers today in the pursuit of the top 4, but the gap is still going to remain at least 9 points after today. So that's it from the Sydney University main ground. My name's Teo Petlazeri. On behalf of our broadcast partner, Sportscast Australia, thanks for your company this evening. And the full-time score, Sydney University 0, Hills United 3.